It's early morning here in Suez and pilot is already on board. And we are going to transit Suez Canal. And in Suez Canal, we are going from Red Sea to Mediterranean Sea. Pilot has much better knowledge of the local areas. For example, if this is Suez Canal, then Mr. Pilot is actually more familiar with it. And he helps the captain of a ship to navigate through the canal. Today, I'll show you the Suez Canal as well, and I want to tell you a little bit about its history as well. Isn't the sun looking nice? Isn't it? I think it's looking beautiful. Right now we have one pilot on board. He is called as the harbor pilot, and he will take the vessel from the anchorage area to the entrance of the Suez Canal. Then second pilot will board the vessel and he will take the ship from the entrance of the Suez Canal to the Great Bitter Lake, and from Great Bitter Lake we'll have the third pilot who will take us to the exit of the canal. Quite a strong breeze is blowing in fact, but inside the bridge there is too much noise of radio, so I decided to come outside and make something. Suez Canal is basically a man-made canal. This canal connects the Red Sea with the Mediterranean Sea, and it was made by the French. The mountains that you're seeing behind me right now, I don't know whether you can see them or not. They belong to the Egypt, and one theory is, I don't know whether it is right or wrong, but one theory is that Red Sea is called Red Sea because the mountains on the both sides of the sea are actually red. Well, they are not actually red, they are like brownish or something, but that's what the theory says.
थ्योरी ये कहती है कि इसलिए रेड सी को रेड सी कहा जाता है क्योंकि all these mountains are red.
And this ship that you're seeing behind me will follow us in the Suez Canal. Now I've got to go inside because the channel has already started and the vessel is going to enter the Suez Canal. We are already in the dredged channel and the vessel is already going in between the buoys. Let me see if I can find some buoys for you. Here's one. Here's another one, and there are many more like that. The difference between the dredged channel and the canal is that dredged channel is still underwater, the seabed is still underwater, and that seabed is dredged and excavated to make a channel. The canal that you'd be able to see ahead, that's where actually the land is cut. The land is cut to make that canal. Now the harbor pilot is going to go and the canal pilot is going to come. This ship is going ahead of us and we are going to follow this ship. And you might be able to see one more ship that's ahead of it. It's really a feat of engineering. You can see they have cut through the desert to make this canal. Do you guys even know how much extra distance a ship has to travel if it was not for the Suez Canal? And if the ships need to go all around the Africa, it would be thousands of miles. A ship would have to literally travel thousands of miles extra if it were not for the Suez Canal. And thousands of miles aside, I mean the fuel that is consumed that breaks the bank. Thousands of dollars, you know, thousands of dollars. And by the way, this canal was built in 18th century and French made this canal. And of course, they did not make it for the benefit of the Egypt. They made a lot of money from this canal. The construction of Suez Canal began in 1859. It was completed in 1869 and it was built by the Suez Canal Company. It took around 10 years to complete this canal, and if you want to know about the distance, then around 8,900 kilometers, that's the distance that you save when you travel through Suez Canal. And if you choose not to travel through Suez Canal, then you'll end up doing at least 8,900 kilometers extra, or about 5,000 miles extra if you go via south of South Africa. And not just that, you'll have to burn a lot of fuel, and a lot of fuel means there'll be thousands and thousands of dollars that the owners have to spend. The length of the Suez Canal is around 193.30 kilometers, or around 121 miles. Ships cross this distance in about 12 hours. There's a convoy and you have to maintain a distance from the ship that is ahead of you. That means you have to keep on adjusting your speed to maintain a safe distance because all of the ships are in a single line. They are following each other. And in 1956, Egypt took the control of the canal back, and the authority of the canal returned back to the Egypt. Until 1956, the authority of the canal was with the French and the British. Walaikum assalam. What are you trying to look for in the canal, my dear? I'm just having a look, Captain, as I have to take over the watch. How much do you think is the distance between the ship side and the canal bank? I think it's less than 80 meters, Captain. Less than 100 meters for sure. Okay, tell me one thing. What are these piers for? These wooden piers. I think they are for the small boats. No dear, these are not just for the boats, these are for us as well. Have you seen that mooring boat that is on the ship already? God forbid, if anything goes wrong, this boat has to be lowered in the water, and the guys, the mooring guys who are already on board, they will make fast the ship with the piers, with these piers. Although these piers are just protected by the tires, but at least there's something. As they say, something is better than nothing. It's quite beautiful, Captain. Well, it's only this small portion that's at the beginning of the canal that is beautiful. If you go ahead, there's just desert and nothing else. At the start of canal, there are some bungalows on the left side. They are quite beautiful, Captain. Yes, they are good. I think all of this area is under the naval control, Captain. I don't think that the local people can visit over here. See, they have constructed a wall as well. I think the wall is very important, Third. When they had a war with Israel, this wall used to work like a front, like a war front for them. On this side, the Egyptians were standing, and on this side, the Israelis were standing. Do you know who conceived the idea of building Suez Canal? That was Napoleon Bonaparte in 1799. In 1799, Napoleon Bonaparte attacked Egypt and he asked to make a feasibility report to connect Red Sea with Mediterranean Sea. He aimed to dig up a canal that would connect the Red Sea with Mediterranean Sea. Feasibility report was made. At that time, it was estimated that this would cost not just a lot, but it will take a lot of time as well. And that's why this idea of 1799 was scrapped. Second survey to build this canal was made in 1840. In 1840, it was also concluded that the survey of 1799 was actually incorrect.
That was wrong.
In fact, it was possible to construct a canal that would connect the Red Sea with Mediterranean Sea, and it wouldn't cost as much as it was estimated in 1799. You saw the other side of Suez Canal. That was lush green. There were palm trees and there was habitation there. But on this side, it's just desert and nobody lives here. Do you know why? Because on this side and next to this desert is Israel. And of course, they are not at good terms with each other. And there's a sort of always some risk on this side. Very few people are actually allowed to live on this side. Most of the posts that you would see on this side would belong to the Egyptian Navy or Egyptian Army. And these posts and buildings are basically for defensive purposes. The French consul that was in Egypt in 1854, his name was Ferdinand. The first license was granted to him for construction of Suez Canal. Then again, a second license was issued to him in 1856. The new license contained the terms and conditions in more detail. And then he actually started building the canal.
And then he actually started building the canal.
The company that started building this canal was called Suez Canal Company. The official construction of the canal started on 25th of April 1859. That is when they actually started building this canal. In 1.5 centuries of its life, this canal has seen so many things. First, there was French occupation, the occupation by Napoleon Bonaparte. After the construction of Suez Canal, the English woke up and they probably thought that we have captured so much of the world, the Suez Canal is still at large. Let's capture this as well. They also made quite some money from it. Then French and British, they both made an alliance and then they both were earning from this canal. In 1956, when Jamal Abdel Nasser took the control of Suez Canal back, he claimed that this was his territory and took it back. That raised Suez Canal crisis and that led to another war. And when there was another war, then first due to the war the canal stayed closed, and then after that the Egyptians themselves closed the canal. When there was a war between Egypt and Israel, this Suez Canal also kept working as a border for Egypt. Then Israel captured this canal and then they closed it, and when the Egyptians got it back, they said that we won't allow the Israeli ships to pass through this canal, and then they closed the canal for 10 years. And all of those people who had been fighting for this canal are all in their graves. They all are sleeping the eternal sleep. Every day, so many ships cross this canal. Just a few moments ago, I was talking to the pilot, and he told me that it's around 25 to 26 ships that cross the Suez Canal every day. The number of smaller ships that cross this canal is actually a little higher. And remnants of the French when they built this canal are still there on the Suez Canal banks. You can even see those cathedrals that they built at that time, and you can also see those mosques that were built in those times. Well, without any doubt, Suez Canal is a feat of engineering. To construct a canal that would link Red Sea with Mediterranean Sea and that would reduce the ship's distance by thousands of kilometers, it has to be a miracle. It has to be a miracle. Navigating in Suez Canal is delightful to say the least. You get to see the beauty of the desert, and usually we underrate the desert a lot. But it's not that much underrated when you see this canal. All of a sudden, you'll see greenery. You'll see the houses that are built over there and the people living and the palm trees. And all of a sudden, you'll see the desert. Complete desert with nothingness at all. Navigating in Suez Canal is a different story altogether. It's delightful as well as scary. Just imagine, for any reason, if your vessel takes a wrong turn, you'll not just end up blocking the canal. Every vessel that is coming behind you will hit you straight away. I told you in one of the videos that ships do not have brakes, so it's not easy to stop them. Not easy. And by the way, this is the northern end of the Suez Canal. The port that you can see is called as Port Said. The vessel has officially entered the Mediterranean Sea. So it's really wonderful that when you start your morning, you're in the Red Sea, and by the evening, you are in the Mediterranean Sea. I hope you must have liked this small effort of ours, and I hope that you liked this video. If you did, then don't forget to press the thumbs up button. Take very good care of yourself, and don't forget to remember me in your prayers. This is Zahid Nisar, and until the next video, bye.